And welcome back to the Dogfather Model and Toys. This is the second in my look back at the certain Planet of the Apes movies. This time it will be Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. And this is a movie poster. Okay, so and unlike last time, I went back and I rewatched it myself, and it seemed like the only thing I did was basically give you the story of it. So I'm going to try to do better this time. So this is the movie poster, as you can see. The movie was released on June 30th, 1972. It was on a $1.7 million budget and made $9.7 million back. Okay, the movie starred Ronnie McDowell, Don Murray. They may not sound familiar, but if you watch Knots Landing, he was in the first two seasons. And Ricardo Montalban, a.k.a. Khan from Star Trek, The Wrath of Khan. So, and there's like the beginning of the movie there, but I couldn't find an actual one. You see the apes. Now, this was not the original one. There is an original one where it's nighttime and you see a guard chasing down a shadowy figure and he's yelling, "Stop, stop." And he shoots. And then when you realize he just killed, the figure falls, and it turns out to be a chimpanzee trying to escape. And that's the original beginning. Now, I've never seen the footage of it. I heard about it, and it's in the Marvel comic books of the 70s. Because even as a child, I'm like, hey, I don't remember that. Oh, that'd been cool. Okay, when the movie starts off, you see a helicopter flying overhead, and it lands, and Armando comes out, and he's got Caesar, who is the son of Carnias and Zira. Looks like Daddy, don't he? Get out, and he's walking around, and you see Caesar's walking more upright, and Armando tells him he's got to walk more leaned over and hunched over and sway his arms back and forth like a ape, because he's picked up human traits with him. Now, if I did that, my back would be killing me. I got a bad back, so there they are walking around town. And see, this is the first time Caesar's been out in public, so he's never seen the apes. Now, the screenwriter took inspirations for the police department, put them in black outfits and acting like Nazis. I mean, they're not shooting the apes. They got like little sticks. You see, this female ape is taking a nap, and well, they gave her a 5 o'clock wake up call. And there you got a statue of the cats and dogs, which you find out that in the year 1983, cats and dogs died from a mysterious disease from space, and which killed them all over the world. So what happens? Humans has got to have their pets. Voila. We take monkeys or apes. And they realize, hey, they do tricks, they can do this, they can do that. And it slowly turned into slavery. And they seeing, and Caesar's fighting with a gorilla for a piece of fruit. Of course, Armando also reminds him he cannot talk, because there's only been 2 talking apes, and that was his parents. And I think that's Lisa, his wife, in the next movie. Spoiler alert. Sorry. And this ape, they go around. They're putting up flyers for the circus. And there's an ape using a broom. And this is eating at Caesar. And the apes are hairdressers and then this one ape, he's in chains and they're getting him, and they're trying to roughhouse him into doing what they want. And it's eating at Caesar. And they give this ape a shot, in which it screams out in pain, and Caesar blurts out, "Lousy human bastards." And then there's all the crowd. Well, the crowd's also protesting that the apes are taking their jobs. Because, let's see. I don't know. Slaves are scabs. I don't know. There's a picture in here. So, like everything else, they take inspiration from this and that. Well, Armando says he screamed it, and everybody, no, the ape did it. Yeah, of course, they don't like apes to begin with, and they're one of them bad ape masks. Well, what do you expect with a low budget? Every movie got a lower and lower budget, thinking, hey, well, Caesar runs away, and he gets found, and he agreed to turn him in, saying he ran away, and he's going to meet back up at the circus. If not, go to follow the staircase down and mix in with the apes. And there's him being interrogated by the governor of, I guess, California. They never say what state. But the movie was filmed in Century City, Los Angeles, California. And the movie takes place in 1991, if I didn't say it. And that's Cope, the head of security, bad guy. So they still don't believe him. So Caesar decides he's going to take off his clothes, jump in a cage with a bunch of orangutans. And there he is brought into ape management where he's trained and do jobs. Of course, he's pictured, and there's ape management. They're training them, basically torturing them, it looks. They got right here, you got this thing where it shocks you when they're yelling no at you, and then using fire to teach them not to be afraid of fire, and whipping them. There's the fire part. And there's the shocking part. And Caesar kind of gets the hint and, hey, I don't want this crap, man. I'll do what you say. Just don't zap me. And they put him in a cage with some more orangutans with a banana, and he's, hey, let's be friends here. You want a piece of my banana? And of course, Caesar does so good they let him mate. Now, this is a little silly because I don't think apes pose like that when they want to have a little, what do you call it? It'd be nice. Tussle or little trip down the road, and then on a bed with blankets. Caesar's going, yeah, boy. I think I'm going to enjoy this part of the being a slave. And this is like an auction where Caesar's put up for sale. Also, I'm trying to hold on for a minute. Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry about that. My hand cramped up. Like I was saying, this is an ape auction. And he does so good. He goes for a good price. And he is bought by the governor. Okay. And the Governor Breck, that's his name, if I didn't say it. Hold on, Vader. Lets him pick his own name. He gets a book of names down and goes through pages. Of course, him being intelligent, he picks his own name. He picks Caesar and the king, but they tried him as bartender. He didn't work out, so they put him down as a file clerk. And then you got Armando being interrogated by some futuristic lie detector, which makes him tell the truth. And they're there. Where's the apes? And then Armando said, I'll tell you where he's at, but you got to tell me where I can find Admiral James T. Clark. Oh, wrong movies franchise. Sorry. Con. Oh. Come on, stop. I got a dog on one shoulder. Guys, I'll feed you in a minute, I promise. You're not dying of malnutrition yet. And there, you know. And there he is saying, where can I find the plans for the Genesis device? Oh, heck, wrong franchise again. I'm sorry. I'm more used to Ricardo Montalban being either Con or you hear this little short guy going, the plane. Which was, now that I think of it, it's kind of funny because Roddy McDowell was on an episode of Fantasy Island. He played the devil trying to take over the island, and of course, Ricardo Montalban was Mr. Rourke, who ran the island, and they were fighting each other for the island. I never really thought about that until just now. Until I went, the plane. So that's one of the behind-the-scene things that they've worked together again. Huh. I never realized that. Or thought about it. But, of course, the devil wasn't dressed like an ape. And there Caesar finds out that the only father he knew is, well, he jumped out of a window to keep from telling Caesar about Caesar, which provokes, there he is looking at a poster. And, of course, then Caesar starts making plans. Yeah, see, there he is, making plans for the go against the humans. And there's that Don Murray. He's Governor Breck. And of course, like I said, he was on. I really don't know what else he was on other than Knots Landing. And that's Mr. McDowell, his assistant, or he works for the governor. I don't know if he's the assistant. And he'll come into more in play by the end, later on in the movie. And there, the apes are starting to go, screw this. And there he is in like a little hideout that's supposed to be off limits to apes. And he'd write down, they bring a grocery list, 2 steaks, this, that. And then he'd write down 10 gallons of kerosene. And of course, they'd fill it and bring Caesar the kerosene, and of course they didn't have weapons. They were just gathering guns and not guns. Well, I just said they couldn't. I just said they didn't have knives and hatchets and gas and kerosene. There he is holding that's a big steak knife. And there he is with the grocery list, like I was just saying. And then they're realizing that. Okay, let me go back. Here they've realized that there was when Caesar was found, he was in a cage with orangutans from Borneo. there aren't no chimpanzees in Borneo, apparently. And that was a dead giveaway. So they tell Cope to go look for him. Mr. McDowell finds him, and he said, I wish you understood what's going to happen. And, of course, then Caesar goes, I understand. And he goes, by the way, you got that grocery list? Because I just peed my pants just now. And, of course, he's telling Mr. peed my pants, that's funny. Telling him, that he's got free, basically not the whole details, but they're going to start, get freedom for his people. The apes, that is. And Mr. McDowell saying, well, here, go down this tunnel, take a left and run. But he is eventually caught by Cope and the police and taken into this ape interrogation room where they shock the crap out of him. And Mr. McDowell takes off and he finds the control room going, basically, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I hope this switch wasn't that turns it off. Of course, after enough shock, that's after Caesar gets shocked so many times, then he says, have pity. And then the governor goes, by the way, you got any of them Depends left, Mr. McDowell? Because I just peed my pants. Well, when Mr. McDowell turned the power off, Caesar faked his death, which is a little stupid because, they didn't have a vet or anybody there. The guard didn't check, see if he had a heartbeat. He just assumed he was dead. So when everybody left, Caesar got off the bed. They undid Caesar. Caesar jumped off the bed, killed the guard, and there he is faking death. And he goes back to the apes and said, okay, guys, time to go to work. And then they're going down the street. And if I could sing, I'd sing the theme to the monkeys. And of course, the police force is out waiting for them. By this time, they killed enough guards, they're getting guns. Especially Caesar there, he's running. And there they are. Caesar's holding a shotgun, and they got shields. A lot of apes. And the bad masked ones are in the back, the good masked ones are in the front. Okay, and of course this ape here, he throws a firebomb at the guards with the guns, and then it's on. They're shooting each other. Apes and humans are getting killed together. And they go to ape management and free those apes. And come on, guys, get out of the cage and join us. And there's Caesar. Now, I have to say, in the Planet of the Apes series, Caesar is my favorite of the main characters in the original franchise, or original movies, I should say. And there's Caesar as Rambo. He's got a M16, which is common for that time in our history, but it's supposed to be 91. They should have had more sophisticated weapons by then. But in 2021 or 1971, I can't talk. That's what they had. And of course, Caesar's mowing down people left and right, and the apes are beating them up, strangling, stabbing. And this is the governor's command center. Realizing, oh crap, we're getting beat. And of course, the apes are getting a little bit wild on the inside there, as you can see. And Governor Brett calls for them to be shot. Then somehow the apes end up with a blowtorch and are cutting their way in. And you look at his face, like, what did I do? He goes, and of course, Mr. McDonald's like, if I was you, I'd put on another Depends. And of course, he's looking at that going, oh Lordy. And then Caesar does break in. He's got the apes have got guns and they're shooting up the joint, blowing crap up. And of course, before that, Governor Brett said, hey, if we lose this battle, we'll be ruled by a planet of eight, or ruled by apes. Well, Caesar liked Mr. McDonald, and he tells him, hey, let him go. He's a good guy. Then they bring Governor Brett to him, and he goes, it says Caesar. And Caesar's like, no, I'm not Caesar, you dummy. And then, of course, they go on a little speech. He goes, before I kill you, tell me why you did it. And Governor Brett goes into this speech where where he tells the governor tells Caesar that when they whip an ape, they're whipping the beast within the humans. Well, they're drugged outside. The governor is, and there he is down here at the bottom here, going, oh Lord, I hope my insurance is paid up. And of course, there's a lot of blood and dead soldiers around them, and the gorillas. That's the funny thing, and I noticed about it. This movie in particular, you saw chimpanzees a lot. You saw a lot of gorillas. Where was the orangutans? Only time you saw them was like in that cage with Caesar. Well, and there's him. He says, Caesar, you need to stop this. And then Caesar goes on this tyrant. And they call this the Night of the Fires. And he tells Mr. McDonald, says, he's asking him, the son of the evolved apes, to show up humanity. And then Caesar says, but I was not born human, dummy. And then, like I said, then Caesar goes in this big speech. and said from this day forward that they'll be ruled by a planet of apes. Well, no, that tonight you've seen the birth of the planet of the apes. And Mr. McDonald says, well, that was 3 movies ago. Well, I mean, no, he didn't say that, though. Now, this movie was panded. I mean, the original cut, if you can, it's been released on Blu-ray and DVD, the original ending, because the original ending was really dark, and Governor Breck is beaten to death by the gorillas with the butts of them guns, which, for a movie, Planet of the Apes was considered a family movie, but they had to bring it, a reality to it, in my opinion. I mean, everything ain't all, well, in the previous movie that you saw Caesar's parents, Cornelius and Zera's, gunned down by Dr. Hassline. If you know who Victor Newman is, you'd understand who played Dr. Hassline. So they went back and they changed it, but they did not. Okay, it was weird how I understood it. Oh, let me get a picture bigger. There we go. I hate that. They went back and they had Ronnie McDowell do another version of the speech, was a little bit more tamer. They want that the humans are going to now be treated with humanity and this and that. And of course, but they had to film it. You cut scenes and you at a certain point, it was the old speech, and they cut it off and tamed it down where Caesar said, okay, we put down our weapons and this and that. But they went in there and they cut his, you see Caesar from the nose up and from a distance, because they couldn't redo the whole scene again. So they did that. And to bring on the 5th and final movie in the series, which will be another video. Now, Conquest was brought out in comic book form. As far as it was a monthly subscription that went through all 5 movies with Marvel in black and white. Now, this was what you got. You got this was a Marvel comic book at the time. These were black and white pages. They weren't colored except for the cover. And they have 75, now only 75 cents. The Final Fury chapter of Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. Now I have this book put up. This was been my favorite comic book cover of the entire Planet of the Apes comic book series. Not because there's a woman with her clothes about half ripped off and a gorilla got her by the hair. It's just the way the gorillas are attacking, and this one's got this rage look. Let me get a close-up of him. That rage look right there. And that one, I might just put that on a hard copy, or not a hard copy, but a memory card, and take it to Walmart and turn it into a poster. Because I really like that picture. And there's, some more little background. Let's see, get back to Caesar Boy here. And Caesar was such a influence that when they redid the original, made the Rise, Dawn, and War for the Planet of the Apes, the main character's name was Caesar. And that's because the was a screenwriter or whoever wrote it was like Caesar, and he said, Caesar, and it was basically the same thing except for it wasn't as bad like this. It wasn't the same premises. If you see, I know a lot of you seen the new original trilogy before that. Caesar was an intelligent ape, not by birth. Was by birth, but it wasn't because his parents were intelligent. It was just the fact he was drugged while he was inside of his mama, and he didn't talk until like the end of the movie, and he led the apes against the humans for their freedom because he was being held in a basically a jail. So that was that, and then Caesar still lived on, and he was even mentioned quite a bit in Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which came out last year. Let's see, did I miss anything? Let me look at my notes real quick. Oh, and one thing I read that where the movie was so violent that the original version of the movie, that parents would walk out of the theater with their kids because of the violence. And the battle scenes and what went on was the screenwriter took the riots that were going on around the United States, civil rights riots and the Watts riots. I don't know, a lot of you know what the Watts riot was, but it was like a big riot in Los Angeles at that time. Sort of like when Rodney King and all them, they're burning stuff down. That's the screenwriters took inspirations from that and just made it bigger. And like I said, he made the police look more Nazis than police did. They had a lot of police. And one thing always got me, why didn't they call in the Army or the National Guard or somebody? But no, the governor just had the police do it and lost. So that's it. I hope I did a better job than I did with the first one. Please let me know. Leave a comment. Subscribe to the channel. Give me a big thumbs up on the YouTube. And until the next video, I'll see you out there. Bye-bye.